We are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. CNC SciFi Grill episode 15.
Woo!
Back Cliff or Kona's here. And then who we got on my left? Who's on my left?
Christina.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You're not gonna say you don't know your name?
No.
No, you don't know your name? Okay.
Oh,
All right.
you have my.
And then below us is who's that down there? Who's that down there?
That's just my baby daddy.
Oh no, you ain't my baby daddy.
Big Nate.
Big Nate in the house, and we are here to discuss what's been going on. We had a week hiatus, and in those times, Big Nate traveled the world.
I did.
He went to multiple coasts.
I traversed the universe. It was ridiculous.
Traversed the universe, and now he's back in lovely New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Right?
Yeah.
And Christina's polar opposite of me. She is on the West Coast, and I'm on the East. So today's episode, we got a couple things I wanted to go over. One of them, of course, is the Falcon Winter Soldier started last week, so we got 2 episodes in. And then also we got, I wanted to discuss something that had been around for a while. It's on season 3 right now, I think it is, which is Star Trek Discovery, which has been pretty doggone good. I don't know if either of you guys had a chance to ever catch it because it was on CBS Access, but now it's on Paramount, which is on Amazon Prime.
I'm not really a Trekkie, so I probably wouldn't. Have done that.
You evil child, you.
I grew up with Star Wars.
This is true because your dad didn't really. He was a Trekkie, but he wasn't. By the time you were born, Star Trek had gone into a long hiatus, and New Generation was around, but I didn't watch New Generation every Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it came on UPN, Channel 50 in Chicago. And and by the time you got old enough to know what you were watching, because Daddy used to watch Simpsons with you, and your mom would look at me like, "What are you watching? Simpsons? She's a baby. Okay. What's it gonna do to her? Nothing."
Well, let's look at the baby now. It did have some effect. But it was an effect to the good.
No, sir. That is all natural genes she has. That is nothing to do with the Simpsons.
It was an effect to the good. That's what I'm saying.
So we had that, and by the time you got old enough to really get into stuff, that was when the prequels came around, and so yeah, I guess Star Trek didn't really start back up again until they tried to revive it in 2013, 14. I can't remember when J.J. Abrams said, "Hey, how much lens flare do you want in a movie?"
I've seen some of the movies. I've seen like Star Trek Beyond and.
Star Trek Beyond was good. That was the one with Idris, wasn't it?
Yes, and then one of them doesn't. Don't both of them also have like Chris Pine or something?
Chris Pine is in he's Kirk, and so is Zachary Quinto is Spock.
Yeah,
which to me was actually good casting. Zachary Quinto was a great Spock.
Carl Urban was good as Bones.
Oh yeah, very good.
Yeah, but Chris Pines, he's
no, but he's a good Spock. I mean, not Spock. He's a good Kirk. He's a great Kirk.
Yeah, but Kirk's not whiny like that.
Yeah, but pretty, using his looks. Yeah.
And fast, talking his way out of stuff.
That's Kirk all day, man.
But I think y'all should, if you have a way to watch Star Trek Discovery, it is a pretty good show. And stars a young lady that I'm going to butcher her name because I'm sure. But the interesting thing is it takes place during the same time as the Enterprise that was under command of the captain before Kirk. God, what is her name? Sonequa Martin Green. I think that, and I'm pretty sure I butchered her first name. But she's the main star, which is pretty nice. But the interesting thing is she plays a human that was raised by a Vulcan and the Vulcan turns out to be Sarek, and Nate will know who Sarek is. That's Spock's daddy. So she is Spock's adopted sister.
What?
Yes. Her parents died. They were attacked on. They were killed. The Klingons killed them in a raid.
Damn Klingons.
And this whole thing. Well, this takes place during the first Klingon Human War, or Federation War. I'm sorry. And so she's the heart and soul of the thing, and she kind of kicks off the Klingon War by mistake, and she actually gets kicked out of Starfleet and has no rank. But they end up bringing her back, and it's this whole big thing. And the first season is 15 episodes, but it's pretty good stuff. I mean, it kind of revitalized Trek almost as good as Picard. I think they said Picard has been good. I haven't gotten into Picard. I've
heard about that too.
Binge watched Discovery yesterday and got through all the first season. That's how good it was. But if you have Paramount or CBS Access, I advise you to try to look at it.
Now, I'm not a drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I really want some Romulan ale.
They never went into that. They didn't have the Romulans in there. There was this other interesting species that was on the ship with her, which they were bred to be either prey or food. So because they were bred to be prey, they had these little things that stuck out the back of their necks that would alert them when something was dangerous around them. So it was, what's going on at your house?
I'm right next to the freeway, so everyone decides they want to rev up the ramp.
Well, how else are they going to get the Challenger up that 1 yard of freeway to get on the freeway?
Yeah.
Well, I'm down here in F-350 truck land, so, by golly, I'm an American and I can rev my truck as long as I want to from one block to the next. You revved it to a red light. How do you feel? I feel great, buddy. I feel American.
So, yeah. And so it does have 3 seasons. And the last season just ended January 2021. 14 episodes from last season and 13 episodes in this season. So it's got a nice plethora of episodes on like the Netflix things.
Well, I'm going to say this. You've been talking wonderfully about this Star Trek, but I'm triggered.
Why?
I'm triggered. I'm ready. I mean, that second episode, I'm triggered. I'm ready.
We haven't gotten into that yet. You just slow your roll, sir. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. I was trying to get.
That's why I'm smoking a cigar. I'm triggered.
All right. Well, in that case, we'll get into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So last week, Falcon and Winter Soldier started, and we catch up with everybody. And Falcon is still doing government contracts. So he's got his little thing. He's got a little sidekick with him that helps him out, who is a soldier in the Air Force. And then Bucky is trying to make amends for,
all
what
of
he's
his
done in the
wrongs.
past, which is kind of hard to do considering, he tells the psychiatrist he doesn't remember everything, but he actually remembers everything he did, which if you think about it, that's a lot. That's a lot for somebody to deal with. He's got serious PTSD issues.
PTSD to the max.
So there's a terrorist organization out there called the Flag Smashers, and they come along and they're doing things, and they're kind of a millennial group, if you want to say. They use the internet, and come to find out they're also
them one millennials. Don't put them on 35-year-olds. That's Generation Z.
Sir, the leader is 21. So again,
that's Generation Z.
How is that Generation Z?
It is.
Nicholas is Generation Z.
Oh God. Okay, well then fine. They're Generation Z.
He ain't no dang millennial. Nick ain't got no kids.
So 21 is that weird Gen Z millennial gap. Those of us that are in 95 to 2002. That we understand millennial things, but we also understand Gen Z things. Some of us didn't grow up with computers. but we had like flip phones.
Hey, I tried to give you a computer, but
I mean, I used
money
it
was
for
tight.
most of my life. So like we understand, like, but we like vaguely remember like dial up, but like didn't grow up with it.
Y'all are Gen Zers. I fully Gen Zers.
So we'll get into the spoiler section where we go over a lot of the stuff that happened. I'm not going to do a play-by-play of the episodes because there's a lot of digest, and there's a reason that Nate is triggered. All of us should be triggered in the first 2 episodes, but I will say this. So, and then the episode ended with the most punchable face. The first episode ended with the most punchable face you've ever seen, and the funny part is that is Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's son that's playing the new Captain America.
Wait, I'm sorry.
What?
Best line ever.
What?
That young girl kicked your ass, didn't she?
haven't gotten to the second episode, fool. You skipped ahead to the second episode.
It's just the greatest line ever.
Oh my God.
Proceed.
So the second episode we pick up and Falcon.
Well, you gotta go over the first. You didn't really get in depth in the first episode, but go ahead.
Because didn't I say that's saved for the spoiler section? Do you listen, or you like my wife with selective hearing?
It's the cigar, bruh, selective hearing.
God, we're gonna go over a whole lot more in the spoiler section, sir.
All right, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
All right. So second episode starts up. Bucky is in his place and Falcon's in his, and they're sitting there watching the reveal of the new Captain America, who is on Good Morning America.
Steve would never.
And with his new Bucky, who is black, at his side, who calls himself Battlestar.
Galactica.
He is from the comic books as well. So both of these, John Walker is captain. He did take the mantle up from Steve when Steve quit. And then Battlestar was his sidekick, but he was also known as Bucky, but he calls himself Battlestar, which we have a funny scene with Bucky just looking at him like, what is your name again? Who are you? So Falcon wants to go take care of he has a lead on the Flag Smashers. So they go off, and then Bucky's like, nah, I'm going with you. And so we have this whole scene where the plane's flying over and Bucky jumps out. Or I'm sorry, not Bucky. Falcon jumps out. And the first thing Bucky says was, dude, you don't have a plan. And Falcon's like, oh, I got a plan. It's like, what's the plan? And he jumps out, and Bucky's like, this mother. So then Bucky's like, okay, where's the chute? And the guy goes, oh, there's no chute. And Bucky's like,
no, he says they're 200 feet up. It wouldn't do him any good.
So Bucky jumps out.
And lands flat on his back.
Yes, which was enough. That was funny too. It's just I
got that all on camera, right?
So they end up fighting the Flag Smashers.
The scene from the trailer happened.
The scene from the trailer happened before they left. So yes, the wizards, androids, and aliens. Which comes back to haunt Bucky again when they meet the new Captain America.
The new Captain America.
Hell.
Same thing again. So they end up all getting their butts kicked by the Flag Smashers. I did notice that even when the new Cap threw his shield, I saw Bucky catch it, but he threw it. So they were almost working like a cohesive unit for a little bit. But they do end up losing the fight. And then this brought up another sore point, which has been the theme for the last 2 episodes, with stuff going on in Falcon's life and the way he's approached, which we'll get into in the spoilers, but that's why Nate is triggered. That's why I'm triggered, and I'm sure Christina's triggered. It's yeah.
But
so we'll get into that. But they brought up one character that I don't think anybody was expecting. Which was Isaiah.
I want to say props to Marvel for not being afraid to do what they did with that scene.
Well, Isaiah Bradley always existed. Just nobody knew about him.
Oh no,
it didn't come up later. Oh no! I know. There's multiple parts of that. They started it in the first episode. They started
did.
With his sister.
Yep.
And the bank. That started it. And then this continued it. So what I can say about Falcon and Winter Soldier, Wanda went over mental issues that are plaguing America, like undiagnosed mental issues. This is going across social, economic, and racial issues that plague America.
And veteran issues.
And veteran issues as well. And so I think at the end of this episode, not that I think, but at the end of the episode, so the new Cap has already warned Bucky and them, and I'm sitting there like, you do understand they fought Thanos, so who are you?
Like, literally when he said that, I was like, sir, who the hell do you think you are?
The audacity.
What?
The unmitigated gall.
The absolute audacity.
So they ended up saying they had to go talk to Mr. Zemo, who was in Civil War.
Don't know how that's gonna go.
So we'll see how that goes in the next episode. Also, for anybody that has not watched this, there are no after credits thing.
No.
Doing the whole bloody WandaVision first couple episodes where there's nothing after. So don't be sitting there. We'll let you know in the upcoming episodes if there is anything afterwards. But I'm gonna let y'all know we're gonna start with the spoilers now. I'm not going to go over everything as far as, play by play, because I think that kind of bogs down the conversation. So y'all got about 10 seconds, and then we're going to start talking about the stuff that happened. So I got one question, and this is the spoiler section. You get blipped out of existence for 5 years. How the hell are you supposed to have a work record?
That don't make no damn sense. You didn't exist for 5 dang years. And they're like, well, what work record do you have?
It's like,
Mother plus bucket, wasn't here.
I have government contracts when I left, and I have government contracts when I get there. And a lot of people are harping on the fact, oh, Tony didn't pay the Avengers. I'm like, Tony didn't employ them. They were just a bunch of people that got together. If anybody should have paid them, it should have been the federal government.
But also, like, not only did he not employ them, he built them a facility.
Yes. And weapons.
To do.
I'm pretty sure Bucky's wings and stuff, or I'm sorry, not Bucky. Yeah. Falcon's wing came from StarTech.
Because it said it was Star Technology. It said.
Stupid.
So, so the reason we're talking about that is because in the first episode, Falcon goes down to his sister. And this might be a case of not being able to let go because his sister wants to sell the family business. Their parents died so many years ago. Sam was gone for 5 years, and she held everything together. And she held it together
as a single parent. She got loans on the family home, and she got loans on the business, and she's underwater.
Yes. So she wants to sell it. I mean, who wouldn't? But Sam doesn't want to let it go because it's the family business. Everybody understands that, but he's not there to help. He's doing government contracts. He was an Avenger. And she got mad at him. She's like, who told you to go off and go fight aliens? And he's like, really? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I saved the universe.
She said it. And she said it. She says, I appreciate that and all, but while you were doing that, I was here holding it down. Then you disappeared, and then I had to hold it down for 5 years. And she did.
It didn't disappear on purpose. It's not like I ran out and said I'm going to get a pack of cigarettes. I was blipped out of existence.
Right, but the bottom line is whether it was accidental, whether it was purposeful by the madman, the Mad Titan, or whatever, that's just 5 years that she had to do this. And I sympathize with her. I felt her pain.
Yes.
I felt her angst, and I've also felt that she already knew that bank was going to be racist and wasn't going to help no black family.
And that's what she was trying to hint it to him, and he didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
And it's not like he has income. He has government contracts from before he left and appearances, and he has government. And the guy denied him the loan and then had the audacity to ask for an autograph.
Absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like that not only plays into like the race issue, but also the veteran issue. Like so many veterans come out with nothing to like help them.
No, they don't. And I can tell you this, veterans, when they're in there, and Nate, you probably know this, they make less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have to pay for their, nowadays, I didn't have to when I was in the military, have to pay for their room and board if they decide they want to live off base, or they have to pay for their clothes. They have to do all this out of something. Yes, you got a roof over your head, but you're also getting shot at. Or living in a dangerous situation.
And also that's like however many long year resume gap.
Mm-hmm.
Like however long you stay there, even if it's just the minimum, that's still like years of a gap on your resume.
Well,
they don't
most people.
Yeah,
most people come out, and once they see you were discharged correctly. If you had a honorable discharge, you can get jobs.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the 8 ball, but the thing is, for the ones that aren't, for the ones that are hurt, for the ones that don't have anything, nobody's trying to help them. And this was the perfect example of a veteran who needs help. The family business is dying. They're behind the 8 ball. They're about to be homeless, and there's no help.
And she didn't want his money. He probably could buy everything off. He offered to buy the business from her. She was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't know why she didn't want him to buy the business, which didn't make sense to me.
I mean, I feel like she knew that he wouldn't take care of it because, like, literally the next episode, he was gone.
Yeah. And
he had stuff to do, but, like, he was gone and not.
And it didn't sound like he was there when their parents died either. So that was a whole other thing, she was harping on him for, and she punched him good. And he was like, ow. Then he walked in the door and he's like, don't hit me again. But that's that brother-sister thing right there. That was that whole brother-sister thing right there. Like, don't hit me again. And Nate can attest to that. That is that whole brother-sister. Don't hit me again.
Shout out to my sister who would have punched me too. Go ahead.
So at that time, Bucky is dealing with his past. We come to find out that he's befriended this Asian man, which I thought it was somebody that he was in
served
World War II with.
Right.
Yes, served with. And come to find out at the beginning of the episode, we see Bucky kill a young man because the guy couldn't get his key in the door. And I'm sitting there this whole time. I'm like, you're watching this assassin kill people and you are trying to get a key in the door? I'd have been Jesse Owens. Maybe it's just me.
I was like, first of all, you're standing there watching.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, your hand is shaking too much and you're making noise.
Mm-hmm.
This is why white folk get killed in horror movies.
But he was Asian.
This is why people get killed in horror movies.
So
they go the opposite direction. They stay and scream.
Or hide behind he could have hid behind a chair. I think there was furniture there he could have hid behind.
Get the hell out of Dodge. As soon as they started shooting, why the hell did he get in the wind? My fat butt would have been in the wind. And in my next
would have been out a window, down a fire escape.
Right. So this was during the time when Bucky was under Hydra's rule. He was a Winter Soldier. He had to kill the guy. I mean, he saw him. And his whole thing is nobody ever saw him, which we come to find out that was not the case. But that's who he had befriended, was the guy's son or the guy's father.
Yeah.
The father kept saying, I really wish I knew what happened to him. He just, died or disappeared. And Bucky's sitting there dealing with that. And he wants to tell him, but then again, he's like, I don't know if I want to.
Also, his therapist is the worst.
No, she's not. She's the best. She is the best because she's like, I'm not taking any bull from you. You're not going to get anything over me, although he does get some stuff over her. Come to find out, he's also been arresting people that he helped get in power when he was in Hydra. Like there was another senator who I think might have been, Gary Owen, who died. His, it might have been supposed to have been him, but I think he got arrested at the end of one of the other movies. But because he untimely died, it was this other female senator that got arrested that Bucky had caught. She was in the car, and he programmed the car to crash and all this stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, Gary Shandling, not Gary Owen. Oh my God, Gary Shandling. He was the senator that Stark was always fighting with. You don't remember at the trial in Iron Man 2? It was the curly haired senator that he kept fighting with.
I remember.
I'm just trying to picture his face, and I can't think of it.
So we had that, and then so there was that issue, and then there was also just them finding out. Lost Nate again.
There he goes.
Finding out that there's superpowered folks fighting around. So the Flag Smashers. So Dudley Do Right. That's what I'm gonna call Bucky or Falcon's friend, who is in the Air Force. Decides he's going to take a video. And no. First, he took a video, which I was fine with. He was hidden, but then his Captain Americanism came in, and he decided he was gonna take on a group of terrorists who were robbing a bank by himself.
Okay, wait, hold on. Stop. This man jumped out of wherever he came from.
Out of a bank window, like a second
story. Out of a bank window. And he's carrying two duffel bags filled with dough. Now, I don't know about you, but those were human-sized duffel bags filled to the rim with something. And he's carrying them like I carry a Big Mac. I'm like, dude is strong as hell. Why are you engaging? Right, why are you engaging? Then you pull out a whimsical 9mm, and you're gonna say, and you don't stay distant. You get up close and it's like, I don't know about jurisdiction, but I've got to arrest you.
That's the other thing. He was in France? What are you doing? You have no jurisdiction there at all, dude. Like, no.
You know what he had? You know what jurisdiction they had?
Getting his ass
whooped. His butt, right?
Getting his ass whooped.
And he did quite well.
Yes.
So, we had that, and he's lucky to survive because old boy stomped him.
Knocked him. Now, was that the dude or was that?
That was the dude in the second one at the end.
That was the dude, the second one at the end, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought it was the girl. Okay.
No, it wasn't the girl. So at that point, Bucky sees the video, or I'm sorry, I keep saying Bucky. Sam sees the video, and Sam realizes there's other supers. But the other story that's going on in the background is Sam had given up the shield, or he hadn't given up the shield. He gave the shield to the United States government, which we all knew what was going to come of this once he did it. But he gave a very good reason in the second. He gave a very good reason in the second episode of why he gave it up, which was also an underlining racial thing as well, which I'll go over when we get there. But he gave the shield up. He gave a lovely eulogy about Steve.
So Steve is dead at this point?
Technically dead, yes. Because they're saying he died during Infinity War. At the end of Infinity War. The government doesn't know that he went back in time, put back the gemstones, and then stayed back there. Nobody knows that. So all they know is Captain America disappeared.
Where is he actually?
We don't know.
Oh.
Nobody knows.
This is after him giving him the shield as an old man, right? This is after old man.
So he's old man Steve somewhere, or he's dead, or he actually died.
I just thought he died, but anyway, proceed.
So he gave then the senator and some other senator thanked him. He's like, "Oh, thank you for giving us a shield. We love it. Thank you. And I'm sure this is. And he went to the Smithsonian, and he saw Bucky there at the same time. I think
it was at the Smithsonian. Yes,
it was at the Smithsonian. So,
he didn't see Bucky. He saw
I thought it was Bucky. He saw. He didn't see.
He saw
Bucky.
No, he saw Grady,
Rhodey.
Oh yeah, Rhodey. Rhodey was talking to him the whole time. So that was Don Cheadle's little.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was. Hey, look, there's another Avenger type thing.
Like, hey,
here's the other black guy on the Avengers. That's what.
Literally, it was like that. Black guy.
Yeah. Vision doesn't count. Vision doesn't count because he's red. So they at the end of the episode, they introduce the new Captain America because America needs a Captain America. And I'm sorry, but Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's son has the most punchable face ever.
Oh my god!
He has the most punchable face ever.
He looks
that
like
chin of his is just so punchable.
He looks like every like annoying high school bully. Jock, dude.
Yes,
I would happily punch in the face.
And that was done purposely so we could get the reaction from all of the folks.
Yes.
Also, his chin looks weird in the helmet.
It's because the helmet it's not like Steve's. We're used to Steve's helmet fitting him. And that one didn't look like it was just, I mean, you don't have Stark around making the equipment. So
he looked gumpy. Go ahead.
But they had a lot of memes came out of that, which was hilarious. They took the old man from Up and put his face on him.
So funny. All the square chins.
So then we get to episode 2, and this is where we most of us here, all three of us here, got triggered. So there's a scene. So the first scene is we meet the first Black Captain America, which nobody but Bucky knew about, because that Captain America went after Bucky and actually tore off Bucky's arm.
Right.
At one point in time, back when Bucky was working for Hydra. But he got arrested by the U.S. government and put away for 20 years for being Captain America. And although they made him that way, and if most folks don't know, his name is Isaiah Bradley. He did exist in the comic books. He was given powers by the power brokers who show up later on in the episode. Yes. So he was part of the power broker program. He was given his powers, but he was part of a 300-person team that was experimented on, and he was the only one that survived. All African-American soldiers. So what does this sound like to everyone? Is that Tuskegee, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So they gave them that super soldier serum, or their version.
And he was the only one to survive.
He was the only one out of 300. So they experimented on black males. They all died except for one. They used him, and then when they didn't have any more use for him, they jailed him. They drained his blood to get the serum, and they treated him like an animal.
Yes. And Hydra came in and helped.
Because a powerful black man walking around.
No, you can't have that. And Hydra was walking around at the same time, so he kind of blamed Bucky because Bucky's people, as he said, came in and did the same thing. And not only that, but he's never talked about because he was jailed. Steve didn't know about it, and Sam went off on Bucky, and Bucky had a very valid point.
Yeah, Bucky's. I was okay with Bucky's reasoning.
Yeah, Bucky was I did not want Steve to know.
Because Sam's reason for going off was very valid, but so was Bucky's reasoning for not saying anything.
Right, because I could imagine what kind of heartbreak that would have given Steve to know that there was this other guy that went through the same thing he went through, and he was treated like dog crap.
Yeah.
But then came the second part of this. So after they leave, they're in an African-American neighborhood or an urban neighborhood, and they're arguing in the street, and the cops pull up.
So mad.
And because first of all, there's people arguing. There's a white guy and a black guy arguing on the street. So who are you going to harass? The black guy.
Obviously, it's the black guy's fault.
Yes. And they're like, sir, do you need us? Is he giving you problems? Do you need us to do something?
Is this guy harassing you?
Exactly. And Bucky the whole time is like, no, he's not harassing me. What are you talking about?
And then he's like, do you even know who this is? And they're just like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Wilson. All of a sudden being all formal and stuff. And I'm just like, go away. Go away.
Yep. So it ends up that Bucky has a warrant because he failed to appear at his court-ordered psychiatrist session. So he had a warrant. He had to go to jail. And it ends up that Captain America got him out.
God, it's so annoying.
And it is that point that Captain America threatens them, saying, okay, well, if y'all not going to work with me, because Sam and Bucky brought up a very valid point. We are free agents. We can do what the hell we want.
We
You
don't
guys have
to
red
listen
tape to go through, which
We
is
don't have to listen to you, sir.
right. We don't have to listen
Yeah,
to
but
you.
no. But the red tape was a very valid point. They can move around and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
He has to have everything cleared and then quadruplicate. Plus
Yep.
the fact I ain't working for this wannabe. This dude is not.
I'm not trying to replace Steve. Go away. Go away.
So, at one point after they got their butts whooped by the little girl. Oh, that little girl kicked your ass.
Oh, it was real funny how he was like, "You made a mistake," and then she was like, "Bye."
Uh-huh.
That was great.
Yeah. Well, the best part
No,
was when
wait.
Bucky
Right.
is so naive. And maybe it's the Winter Soldier thing. He's not in Winter Soldier mode anymore. He's a civilian now. But he gets on the truck with the stolen supplies because they've been stealing medical supplies to
Yeah.
help folks.
But here's the issue. Wait. Slow down before you go. They made them sound as if they were bad people. And then you start realizing they're kind of Robin Hoodish.
Yeah.
Yes.
So are they really bad people?
Well, they are and they
Or-
aren't. They're saying that they want the world to go back to the way it was. And the reason they want it to go back to the way it was, and the leader gets on this, is because it was better that way. Because they had, for some reason, they got rid of everybody that was in power that was causing problems. And now those people are back. And
Right, and
now
I'm not.
the
I'm
have
not
and
saying-
the have-nots are not getting anything anymore. Because think about it. We had double the resources at that time.
But I also think it's weird that they're upset that the government is helping the people who were literally missing for 5 years.
And not the people that are there.
And it's like, you guys have been here. Like, you don't have to, like, restart your lives. Like, I
Or
don't
worry about somebody denying you a loan.
Right. Or worried about getting your job back or coming back and your family members have died.
Or
From
materializing inside a hospital and finding out that your mom is dead.
Like, I don't
Right.
understand why they're so against the people who are literally gone being helped. Like, that
I don't think there's against the poor man being helped as they are the rich that popped back and they took back their money and became richer.
Mhm.
And they're doing a Robin Hood type thing. We're robbing from the rich and still
Yeah,
and giving it to the poor.
Mhm. That may be the case, but we'll find out they're all
we're gonna
enhanced.
we're gonna find out there are no good and bad people. They're just folks with different agendas. But go ahead.
So we find out they're all enhanced. They were enhanced by the Power Broker, who also appears in the comic books. Power Brokers gave Isaiah Bradley his abilities. They gave all these guys their abilities. They gave, in the comic books at least, they gave the new Captain America, John Walker, and the new Bucky or Battlestar, whatever his name is. They gave them their powers. Although it doesn't seem like either one of them have any powers because they got their butts
either of them have
handed to them.
powers right now.
They
So
don't
this
have
Cap
any
doesn't even have any powers. He's just
No.
a
He's
athlete.
just an asshole.
Right.
No, he's an athlete that says he has guts. Because remember, he was on Good Morning America.
Yes.
He's an athlete military brat
Mm-hmm.
who's annoying.
Basically. You really don't like him. But that's okay. I
No.
don't like him either.
Steve would never go on a talk show. How dare you?
No. He was pretty standoff. He kept to himself and he just wanted to live the quiet life, honestly. Well, if you think about it, CJ, when he first came around, he did. Because they forced him to go on all those tours and he had to buy the bonds and all that. Remember, he had his little theme song for Captain America, all that stuff, all that good stuff.
That was back in World War II, right?
Yes, that was back in World War II. You are correct. I don't think he did any talk shows when he came back out of the ice.
No.
No.
He was not about that life. Because
No.
that's not what being Captain America is about.
Mm-mm. And the one guy was like, oh yeah, or no, Sam or Bucky was like, did you ever throw yourself on a grenade to John Walker? And John Walker's like, oh yeah, of course I have. I took my helmet and I put it on there. It shapes the helmet, and I'm like, what? No, that's not the point, dude. You're totally missing what I'm talking about. So that's there's a lot to digest. I think there's going to be a lot of social issues that come up with Sam. And Sam did mention to Bucky, he was like, dude, yes, y'all wanted me to have the shield, but y'all ever think what that meant? And that's why I gave it up. And I think that it goes back to when, in the comic books, when Sam became Captain America, there was a huge uproar in comic book from the comic Marvel nerds about there being a black Captain America.
I mean, it's a similar uproar to when they cast Zendaya as MJ.
Yes.
Very, very similar feeling.
Mm-hmm. And it's a shame. It's 2021.
It just continues to show how much America has not actually freaking changed.
No, not for a lot of people. It hasn't changed. They want things a certain way. There are people mad about the whole Idris. They were talking about, oh, Idris can't play James Bond, and then all this other stuff. It's like, I thought y'all cared about the actor and the role, not necessarily the color of their skin.
Not the color of their skin.
Mm-hmm. So I think Falcon and Winter Soldier's off. They're not. Does have a lot of action. There is a lot of action. Red Wing got killed again. That little drone just can't survive.
We'll get another one.
But that first action scene,
I wish I could do that.
But the first action scene at the beginning of it, just showing off what Sam can do against Batroc, the Leaper, that was awesome. Because him flying around and taking off the helicopters and just Batroc was not happy at all during any of that. I mean, he did get a couple of, and for those that don't know, Batroc was the guy that took over the boat in the Winter Soldier, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. He was the one that took over the boat. Now, interesting thing is the leader of the Flag Smashers is actually the young lady that was the leader of the rebel group in the Solo movie.
Mm-hmm.
At the
end. That's her.
Yeah.
The black girl with the red undertones and the freckles.
Yes, she's English. Yep. So I don't know where we're gonna go with this. They're going to get they're going to talk to Zemo next week. So of course, from all that, I'm sure Zemo's gonna get out somehow, some way. It's interesting that he's still in jail.
Somehow, it's just not
Cliff.
So
Cliff.
Huh? What?
You mad that girl kicked your ass, ain't
it?
Zemo is going to, I'm sure Zemo's going to get out. I don't know if he's going to join the Flag Smashers or if he's going to do something worse or if he's part of this, but he has a lot of information about Hydra. He's probably the only person left because he's destroyed most of Hydra. I don't think there's any Hydra agents left that he has not killed or found. And now there's basically new super soldiers out there because of the power brokers who I'm sure took the recipe or whatever that they did to create the Winter Soldier and using it to create all these other ones. And probably also from Isaiah Bradley, they took that stuff.
Yeah, but I think we're going to find out that they created all of these super soldiers and then they broke off to do their faction to help the poor, and that's why they're being hunted down by the power brokers.
And one of the guys did die at the end. The guy that kicked the lieutenant or sergeant's face in. He did end up getting a nice amount of bullets put in him.
A lot of bullets.
Mm-hmm. While the rest of his teammates escaped. So we'll see what's good. But we do see that the Flag Smashers are folk heroes to a lot of folks, and to Big Nate's point, is where they're giving stuff back to the people that have been taken from them. Because imagine you're living in somebody's house because half the world disappeared, so now there's more resources, there's more food, and then all of a sudden those people come back while you're sitting in their house, and they're like, "Why are you here?" So what do you do?
Can you imagine, like, you're just asleep, and then like someone just appears in the bed next to you?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh my god, that would have been
because
wild.
it wasn't daytime everywhere when everybody got blipped back. Everybody got blipped back at the same time, so it was day, night,
time somewhere.
So
you could have been in your new house with your new significant other, and all of a sudden this person just blip back in your living room with the controller back in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, who the hell are you?
So I think this is going to be an interesting story. We'll see where it goes. I think it's only 6 episodes. I don't know for sure. That means we only got 4 left. I don't know for sure. The rumor was it's 6 episodes.
No.
WandaVision was 9. And if you think about it, I think 6 is probably in line with, Loki's going to come up. So this was episode 2. So you got another 4 weeks, maybe, which would put it at the 23rd. Which gives it just enough time for Loki to start on the 7th. And I don't know when Nat's movie is coming out, Black Widow. I can't remember what time.
July.
Is it? They moved it to July now? It was supposed to be July.
I think it's July.
Oh, they might have pushed it back because they're trying to put it in theaters too.
Right. I think it's July. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, Mr. Nobody started today, and that's totally in theaters only. There's no streaming service for it. So we'll see. So Christina, any thoughts?
I think it's great.
Than what you said.
I appreciate, like I said earlier, that Marvel is tackling not only veteran issues but also social issues, especially after the past few years. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's good. It's definitely a different tone than WandaVision, which I like. I feel like it's definitely more comedic. It's more action heavy because they're soldiers and not wizards. And I feel like Loki is going to be this weird mix of the two. Because it's freaking Loki. He's the god of mischief, so it's not going to be like totally serious. But also, he's a wizard, so magic.
So, Nate, your thoughts?
I'd keep rolling with the social issues. It might piss off a couple of nerds in the place because we're all nerds, but piss off some of the nerds that don't want. They said this is not the place for social issues. I'm like, have you read Marvel?
Have you read Marvel?
Have you read X-Men? X-Men alone was about so many social issues. It's ridiculous.
Right, and so my thing is, they went back to their social issues. They went back to tackling these things, and they tackled them on head on. So is this going to be as big as WandaVision? Maybe not, because you're going to get people, sadly enough, in 2021 that are still afraid to talk about social issues, still afraid to talk about things that are scare them, that are issues that, because we still. There's still parts of America that does not want to admit that this country was born on racism. To the Native Americans, you stole their land and you brought these people over, and then you didn't give either one of those groups a fair shake. And so they don't, well, that happened and so. Really? So what happened in Georgia when they just took back voting right abilities? It ain't just happened.
It's literally hate crimes. Literally like last week. Like, America is not any better.
And so I think people that are saying, that whole theme of, look, when I turn on TV, I want to be entertained. I don't want to deal with society's ills. But Marvel never walked away from society's ills. They took it head on. So I applaud them for that. This particular Falcon and the Winter Soldier may not be as successful as WandaVision. But you know what?
Its first weekend, it had more streaming views than WandaVision. So we'll see how it goes.
It's a double-edged sword as well, because I feel like WandaVision wouldn't have appealed to the men because it starred Wanda, whereas this one appeals to the men because it has Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
it started off all actiony.
And it's
by the way, and one of our Whitney Young Dolphin friends, she made me laugh so hard because she says her daughter, after they watched it, her tween daughter was pissed because she was like, "That's not America's ass." I almost died. I almost died. I said, "Now that's what the hell I'm doing." I screamed. I screamed. I had to put the phone down. I was like, "Yes, that is
so funny."
I said, "That's awesome." So my point is that shout out to Melinda Powell. Shout out whose tween daughter just said that. I almost screamed.
That's not America's ass.
That's not
She's
America's
not
ass. You know, so my so anyway, that just got me. I was tickled pink when I read that one. So anyway, my thing is I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's longer than 6 episodes, but we'll see what happens.
The other thing that I forgot to mention that came up was the whole thing when they were going to Isaiah's house and Bucky knocks on the door and that one, I think it was his grandson, comes to the door and he's like, "I don't care who you are. You ain't coming up in here."
Right.
Protective. We love it.
But it's going to be an interesting story. I think they're going to keep hitting on the social issues, including the poverty issues of having 2.5 billion people disappear and then reappear.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Well, was it like 3.5 billion people appear and disappear. Because think about it. You had all these resources for 5 years from people disappearing. You built up a new structure, which we saw in WandaVision. You built up all this stuff while they were gone, and then all of a sudden, they're all back.
Well, I mean, I want to touch on that for a second because, we never really saw the fallout from it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just using myself. I love my house. You guys know I moved into this new house down here, and I love my house, my little 2-story house. And I'm great. It's not as expansive as your house, Brother Cliff. But for me and my son and my 2 crazy dogs, it's perfectly fine. So if I would have blipped and then came back 5 years later and somebody's in my damn house, and because I wasn't around, they were able to take my house and give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm not there. So then what am I supposed to do? I come back 5 years later. It took, I don't know about
Elijah, and your son's 15?
Elijah's 15. He's back with his mother because I just a freaking peered.
And what happens if both y'all disappear? Then
he has to go with a grandma or an uncle or something. Mm-hmm. And then 5 years later, I blip back. I come back to my house. This ain't my house no more. Mm-hmm. I don't have a car anymore because, think about it. If I blipped away, my extra key is in the house. So somebody then took my car. This house ain't mine no more. And
son's almost grown.
And how do I get my job back? Let's be honest. Y'all know how hard I work. I'm just using me as an example because I was thinking about this. Mm-hmm. I said, y'all know how hard I work. There is no way that they would have allowed this office to pile up. They would have put somebody in as the manager. So the question is, I can't go back to the PDs as a manager. I don't have a house anymore. Lord knows I don't know where my car is. Somebody that moved into this house and somebody took the car. How do I start over? And I have degrees. Think about if you were just a poor person living from check to check and you come back 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they're going to deal with that issue. And I applaud them for dealing with that issue because there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to go into. And while we're dealing with the action, they need to address some of that. And I applaud Marvel for doing so. And if some of these people, if it's too heavy, I can't deal with it. I just want to be entertained and see people and nice looking ladies. Kick rocks. Kick rocks.
Read a book. And not a picture one.
But the pictures are so nice. They're so pretty. They're so pretty.
Kick rocks.
So I think that's it on Winter Soldier. We'll see Falcon and Winter Soldier. We'll see what comes up next week. I did want to touch on this, although you two have not seen it, which was the Synder Cut of Justice League dropped last Thursday.
Hey, if you want to, bro, I have to watch that for 4 hours, and I got all day tomorrow. We can.
No, you got to split it. You got to split it up. You can't watch that 4 hours straight.
I'm not saying that I'm gonna watch it for 4 hours, but I would say why don't we attack that next week because that gives myself and Christina a chance to throughout the week, watch it, the 4-hour Snyder Cut. Why don't we do that?
Okay. The other thing that came out today was Suicide Squad 2 trailer. I advise you to watch the red band version of that because it's hilarious. I did post it on my personal Facebook page. So
what's the
you
difference?
can find
What's the difference?
The red band version, the red band is not rated. So therefore it's like going to the movies to watch it. So,
all right, so then I'll it's on your page?
Yes, it's on my page.
I'll check it out.
Oh, I heard a rumor that because Snyder released his cut, that the Russo brothers want to release their uncut version of Endgame.
Wait, so we didn't get did we? How much was dropped from? How much could have been dropped from Endgame? They closed.
Do you know how much? There is so much filming that goes on.
There's about an hour of extra footage on Endgame, and that was a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, but they said I think the rumor that I saw with the picture said like 6 hours.
Oh my god!
I mean, I would watch it.
So
that's a lot. I mean, but I'm also not surprised because it's a 3-hour movie and like extra footage. There's probably at least an hour for every hour.
But remember now, Snyder was given $70 million to do reshoots and to splice everything back together. And when you watch it, it is a totally different film. I can tell you that. And it's a much better film. It's a lot more freshing out. And I'm a little upset. You're going to be upset with Josh Whedon with what he did with the story.
I'm going to be upset with Warner Brothers for firing Snyder.
Well, Snyder didn't get fired. He left. His daughter died. So he handed the reins back over to them, and they said, well, we need to complete this movie. And I mean, you work in the entertainment industry. They have deadlines.
Which is why I said what I said.
Oh, okay. All right. I got you. Okay.
She's right, because I mean, I directed 3 independent films, and when I strung together a 90-minute movie, I had 3 hours of footage. But then I had to string together 90 minutes of movie, and a lot of stuff hit the cut room floor. So there's going to be a lot.
But I think if the Russo brothers decide they want to release uncut of Endgame,
my god, that is. Are they going to include Infinity War in there too? Are they going to put both of them together?
I don't know.
There's so much that can be done.
Yeah,
that'd be like 12 hours.
Well, Christina, any shout outs you got?
Shout out to Shout out to getting the vaccine. Woo! Vaccinated.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, niece.
Feel safe.
Where can people find you if they're looking for you?
If you're looking for me,
if they're not stalkers, not the stalker kind.
You can find me on Instagram at cjasmine.music. That's a period. You can also find me on Spotify, cjasmine, spelled like the flower, Jasmine. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Big Nate, what about you? Shout outs?
Well, if you're a big girl, you can stalk me. Find me on Instagram, The Real Nate Banks. I don't mind stalking as long as you're a big girl. Shout out to the big girls. Woo woo! Stalk me, damn it.
This is why we can't take you anywhere. This is exactly why we can't take you anywhere.
Stalk me, damn it. Stalk me. Show me what you're working with, big girl.
My God.
Because I'm stupid.
My God. Why?
My niece on here, so I can't expound no further. Anyway, let's talk about it.
I need to bleach my brain.
Also, shout out to my wonderful niece, Christina, who just so happened to mention me to her people. So I love her the bits and pieces for that. Shout out to my baby girl. Love my niece. And I always have her back. And you know what? She knows I have her back. So she had mine. Shout out to my baby girl.
I have a need to just leave. I'm driving to New Mexico.
Hey, I got you, baby girl.
Have fun in the desert.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Nicholas only comes back in the summers, so we got a third bedroom, baby. You always welcome. Anyway, so like I was saying, I got so much to shout out. Today was my first meeting of our subcommittee on the Commission for Equity and Justice, which is a Supreme Court commission. And why did they make your boy a head of the subcommittee with an appellate court judge? So I'm sitting over there having conversations with a Supreme Court. The Supreme Court judge thought with the leader or the head of this whole commission, we would like to have Nate to be the head, one of the heads of the pipeline committee. And let me tell you something. We have some goals and some stuff that we want to do that I think will really help. You know, we have to make institutional change to be able to put more diversity on the bench, because right now we just don't have a lot of diversity on the bench. We did, shout out to the women, thank God. I don't understand the whole, I don't want to go too far, but I don't understand the whole muy macho mentality. My dad wasn't that way. You know, my dad let my mom have her space to be a great, amazing supervisor and a boss, and he never stood in her way. He complimented and didn't get intimidated by the fact she was strong and brilliant. And I was raised that way. So then when I don't see space for women, I get upset. But I will say New Mexico has made a lot of space for women, Caucasian women, but women. So one of the things I will say is that we have a lot of work to do to roll up our sleeves to bring more diversity to the bench. And I was honored. I mean, honored that they reached out to me to say, we would want you to be one of the leaders of this committee. And I'm jumping up and down. I'm so honored. I don't know what to do with myself. So, like, I'm going to be having conversations with the appellate court judge, and me and the appellate court judge are going to put together agendas, and we're going to come up with some, I hope, some meaningful, additions to be able to try to help minimize. Now, of course, we can't fix everything, but if we can start doing some meaningful, lasting change, then I've done my job, so that's awesome. The radio show, The Old School Drive from 1 to 5 with me, Big Nate. We broadcasted live from Chicago last Sunday, and that was incredible and amazing. And all the feedback from the general manager is saying that this show is amazing and people are loving it and it's growing. So I just want to say thank you to every and anybody that's ever tuned into my show, whether you tune in here in Carlsbad or streaming on the World Wide Web. Just thank you. I'm blessed. And I tell you, I try to spread that positivity because God has been so good to me. He really did give me double for my trouble. I ain't gonna preach on it because y'all know I can preach. But and also shout out to these wonderful cigars. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee.
We just came from Ybor City earlier this week. Me and Big Nate and one of our brothers. So we came back with La Ferrona cigars, our favorite spot down there in Ybor City. So don't forget to go and visit them when you get a chance. They got a nice new shop with a lounge and a back patio with a little pond, a koi pond in it to make you relax. And come about, what did they say, about June, July-ish? They're going to have their liquor license. And
so by the time your birthday comes, right, so by the time your birthday comes around, if we roll back down there, they'll have their liquor license. So,
it's going to be on and popping.
And Ybor City, they have the largest walk-in humidor in all of Ybor City. So shout out to Odelma and Renee down there in Lafayette Cigars. We love you.
That's right. So we're going to sign off today. It's Cliff signing off. I'm signing off for Christina and Big Nate. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll be back next week with episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier and a little bit about the Synder Cut. Hopefully they'll be through it by then. I don't know how much Christina can sit through since they put a lot more Amber Heard in this one. So I could see her face already just
It ain't just her.
Right.
Blah.
And she's so disgruntled because Warner Brothers didn't want her anymore.
Well, she wasn't disgruntled when her ex-husband got kicked off of Warner Brothers, so.
Blah.
But thank y'all for joining us, and we will see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.